I don't know which animal is bigger than the elephant. Whale. Okay. The one I even saw in Italy is bigger than whale. But let's go through it together. And I hope some of my colleagues are preparing to go to Imo for the governorship election. Fear not.
Fear not, yes.
I saw Rotimi on TV saying confidently that nobody should be afraid to come out and vote, that nothing will happen.
Yes.
And that's the governor.
Yeah.
He's the chief security officer of the state. Thank you very much. So, I would like to begin. Next slide. I know that a lot of you know how INEC was established, but I'm just putting it here as a preamble. We're not going to read it. How INEC came to be in 1999 and what it was set up to do. So, next slide. Now, this is interesting because the functions of INEC listed here are 9. But what I discover is that anytime I discuss with my colleagues and I ask them if they know the functions of INEC, they will tell me, oh, you people conduct election, you people register voters, and maybe mention 1 or 2 things more. They don't know some other things that we do. So when I sometimes insist that we go through it, they are surprised. And I think that honestly, this is something you need to do. You need to look at our functions properly and see all the things that INEC is serving with so that you can appreciate. Next slide. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this. I put this because as a public institution, we are bound by this law. We must proactively provide information to the Nigerian public, not just the media. And even if we say we are not going to, we can be compelled to do so. That's what the act says. I'm sure you are familiar with this act, which was, I think, individualized by the media rights, like that. And so it was signed into law in 2011, and it's something that we are conscious of, and it's something that we actively do at the moment. We provide information for the media and for those who seek information, although not all types of information are available. For instance, you can't ask our staff how much they earn per month or about their medical records. I mean, that's beyond the purview that you can do. Next slide. Well, I just in about 5 or 6 bullets tried to capture our journey since 1999. You are aware that we have conducted 7 general elections, but the latest one, the one we had this year, was unique in many ways. The register of voters shot up to 93 million, over 93 million, the highest in Africa, and I think the third after India. I think when you take the US, I'm not even sure how many registered voters they have in the US and India. I don't know if China has the register of voters, the kind of democracy they practice. I don't know if some of you are familiar with it. Well, it was, of course, during this period, over the last 7, 8, 9 years, that we were able to expand polling units from 119,973 to 176,846, out of which 240 were not used for the election because they don't have registered voters. So we used 176,606, of course, and we have 8,809 votes. Those are the details. Of course, for the 2020 general election, we had 18 registered voters. I hope you know they are now 19. The 19th one was registered by court order. So they are now 19 instead of 18. But you know, in 2019, they were about 90-something at that time. And somebody was saying that our ballot paper will be like a praying mat. You know. So, of course, again, last year we had a new electoral act, and I I tried to also mention a few of the significant innovations by the Commission. We brought in the papers to replace the smart card reader. We invented the IRF, which our Director of ICT spoke about yesterday. We also started for the first time ever online pre-registration of voters, which enabled people to begin the process of registering in the comfort of their zones and then go to the designated centers to validate that registration. So because of that, we have vast electoral information on reforms and some issues that we need to disseminate from time to time. Next slide. Now, scholars have said so many things about fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. And there are still new definitions coming up, depending on who is talking about it. But I just try to capture some of the basic definitions agreed on by many scholars. I'm saying here that fake news refers to false or misleading information presented as if it were true, often with the intention of deceiving people. It can take various forms, including misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda. It is typically spread through traditional media outlets, social media platforms, or other online channels, and it can have serious consequences. And it is capable of influencing public opinion, it can shape perceptions, and even impact political and social events that we are all aware of. Because of 2023, a lot of people have parted ways because of the support for one party or the other. I know a platform where about 4 or 5 people left in anger after an argument over which party win, which one did not win, and so on and so forth. Then misinformation refers to incorrect or inaccurate information that is inadvertently spread, often without the intention of deceiving. But I differ a little bit, with this definition, but we'll come back to that. But for me, I think disinformation is the most dangerous of all, because it is not only false, but it is deliberately created. Somebody sits down to create what is not true and spread it with the intention to deceive, manipulate perceptions, or achieve some strategic objective. That person is not different from Lucifer, because that was what Lucifer did in the Garden of Eden. And these are the children of Lucifer, masquerading as disinformation agent. Next slide. I want to share with you, this is the meat, because I have just less than 30 minutes. Some of the narrative, there are several of them. Hopefully, in my memoir, when I did INEC, I'll be able to write as a professional about a lot of these things. I just picked some significant fake narratives about some of our processes, and the PVC, you agree with me, was one of them. Now, someone posted this on social media, asking people, he said that also note that you can collect for your neighbors, family members, friends, relatives, if they give you that temporary card or ID. Temporary card is when you go to register, they will give you the slip and all that. There is special appeal. Please help spread this very important information in churches, communities, villages, hamlets, meetings, and beer parlors, and all that. But the truth of the matter is that it's not true. He's trying to insinuate here that, we give our praises by proxy, but that is not what we are doing. And remember, somebody who is now in Asoro said at that time that the PVC will expire at some point. You remember that we had to come out and say, no, the PVC does not have expiry date. Next slide. So what happened? Now, there are two, take it up a little bit. Now, look at also fake narrative on the left and right. Now, I just picked them randomly. There is no intention to, on the left side, That one is saying that anyone who didn't see their PVC should first confirm on that URL. Once your name is there, copy the last 5 digits of your VIN and keep it handy. With that, you are eligible to vote. That is what the Beavers has done for us. The guy has given Beavers another assignment that I need to make Beavers. You know, so these are the people that are saying that you can actually vote without your PVC. You copy the last 5 digits. Of course, it wasn't true. We had to deal with that. Then the gentleman on the right, who said he's from Ohofia, I don't know whether Ohofia is in Imo or Ebonyi. Okay. So it's a very serious allegation to me. I was actually involved in, I investigated that 10 PUs, the PVCs of 10 PUs have been mortgaged. I'm sure you know the meaning of mortgaging something. So by individuals, they didn't say who they were. And there is no sight of INEC workers in any PU till today. You know, and then again turned out to be false. Because what we then did was to call the rep and call the electoral officer of that place. And I said, they are giving PVC. That's not true. When we said this, they said it's not true. You know, I tried to see if I could get, some social media platforms allow you to open accounts of pseudo names. You can just say you are Tiger or you are Lion or you are whatever, and it takes the fee. So there's no telephone number. So I couldn't read, but of course we have to debunk this. Next slide. So what did we do as part of our own efforts? And of course, you know that at some point, all of a sudden, hunters were finding PVCs in forest. You know, they said our PVCs were in drainages and all that, and they were accusing INEC officials of being behind all of that. So, you know, I said at the beginning that somebody said our PVC will expire. And people started calling us because the person said that in at a meeting with voters, and because it's an influential person, people believed it. So we had to issue that public notice to say that all permanent voters cards issued by INEC do not expire. And we insisted that the PVCs have no expiry date written on them. And of course, to your right is a story by leadership, where, of course, leadership questioned us on some of these allegations, and we took time to explain the true position of things. Next slide. So we come to Beavers. I'm sure some of you know this Agbajalingo guy. He's from one of these South states. You know, he's been having a running battle with one of the governors there. Cross River. So the guy said that before the chief election, he said Beavers machines are being moved into Governor's Lodge in Calabar under the cover of darkness. That's Ayadi's house. All stakeholders should be worried. Then under it, he said, dear INEC Nigeria, when as Cross River State Governor's Lodge turned INEC office in Calabar, is the lodge the new store for storing Beavers machines and other sensitive electoral materials? Should we still trust INEC for free, fair, and credible election in 2023, and so on and so forth? Ladies and gentlemen, it turned out to be false. The thought of somebody moving a Beavers machines to governor's residence is unthinkable in INEC. I don't know who can do that. That will have that audacity to pick a Beavers machine. What is he even going to tell the ICT director or the people in charge of the store? And they will ask him where you're taking it, or he's going to tell the rep that he wants to take it to his house or what. He will now pack all the Beavers machines and for what? But that's what the guy said. And people believe this. Editors told me to ask me about this. You won't believe it. I don't want to mention it. People believe it. Next slide. Well, of course, before we even put out any press statement, I used my Twitter page to also debunk it. And of course, some of our friends, online publisher, picked it up and helped us to spread our own side. Please, next slide. Now, what also played out, take it up a bit, what what also played out very badly during this election is ethnicization of the whole process. For some reason, some people felt that we were targeting a section of the country, especially in a state like Lagos. In fact, our resident electoral commissioner, former now, Mr. Agbade, was accused randomly of targeting a section of the country. Now, I'm sure you know Babatunde Badamasi is a politician, and he said, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the INEC Nigerian chairman, is directly supervising a policy of electoral appetite, you know, against the egos of Nigeria. This will be a crime against humanity if the next Nigerian elections descend into chaos or war. How can the man give assurance? And of course, the respected part told me, now because of all these allegations that Igbos were targeted, they were not being registered and all that, he also, in fact, particularly did two things. He came to our office unannounced and brought some people there, which I see as an invasion. You know, when the journalist asked me, I said it is an invasion because Pastor Rotimi has Mahmoud Yakubu's number. There is no way we call the INEC chairman and the man will not be restored. That's one. He knows he can reach the red. But what did Pastor Rotimi do? Most unexpectedly, he took some people, he took journalists, he went to our office unannounced and disrupted the activities there, asking them, why are you doing that? And we are very, very lucky that those street urchins in the ocean did not get a wind of what happened to them. Terrible for all. So, but again, the disinformation that I'm talking about led Pastor Rotimi, who could have actually confirmed from us because he has access. He did it. He went to the press, and that became an issue we have to deal with in VED, CPS office, and Commission as a whole. Next slide. There's this other guy too. I don't know whether he's related to the former Williams who contested as governor of Lagos State, who is now dead. He said that the INEC office in Lagos has removed all Igbo and South staff in the state from sensitive election duties for the March 18th election. There's no proof. They did not give any reason, but it was said that the INEC leadership will take directly from the political blah, blah, blah. And you will not believe it. This guy from nowhere posted this and respected editors believed it and were asking us questions. In fact, one editor said I should give them the full list of staff in Lagos. And I said, for what? That he wants to see the big breakdown. I said, what has that got to do? Because of this guy. He didn't know I had seen this. When I mentioned this, he kept quiet. And I said, how about? I made it for God's sake. You can do better than this. You know. And then I took my time. Because you can't get angry with this people. You have to just explain to them. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what they have had. You don't know which purposes they are taking. In midnight when you are sleeping. So you take time to explain it to them. So these are the things that we're going through. Next slide. So this is about the general election itself. As we are approaching February 25, 2023, somebody posted this one, the one on the left, and said that we were going to do the election on February 25 again. And what was the reason? As a lot of the CBN policy of Naira redesign. And people believe that. I mean, if something so significant as postponing an election is going to take place, wouldn't the INEC chairman be the one to call the press conference? Will it be somebody who will just put up something? But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, our colleagues believe that. We just started receiving calls. Is it that you guys are postponing? Wow! Is it because of Boko Haram? Is it because of Naira redesign? And all that. So we have to tell them, please, we are not postponing any election. The election will hold as scheduled. Then the one on the right, no. don't go. The one on the right said, you know that we had some supplementary election after the general election. But this mysterious guy is saying that all the states listed, that we have extended the voting period for all the states. Therefore, those who didn't vote on the election should prepare to continue voting, which was not true. It was a malicious lie. Because there were probably violence or whatever it is in a few polling units, and then we decided to have supplementary election in those few places. How did that now amount to 11 states? Or probably more, because I think it's still that. And that's what somebody put. So these are the kind of tons of, I won't even call it misinformation. I think it's better, because nobody will be spreading this and pretend not to know it's not true. So it is orchestrated as far as I'm concerned. Next slide. Then again, this one is a recurring decimal. There are recruiting consultants that we did not employ, that we advertise on that they have on Facebook, and we are employing, especially when we want to conduct the election. Now, these people said, you can see the URL, yournewsclaims.com. It's not an echo, and he designed this, and he said people should apply through them to the adult staff in INEC. And some people applied, and some people actually paid. And somebody called us again to say that, but I paid 50,000 naira, so is my money going to? I said, who did you pay it to? He said, I will call you back. He has not bought it to you. People pay them to do this. I'm telling you, some Nigerians are that gullible. I don't know what happened. Whether they used to do, I don't know whether it's possible. Next slide. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to bore you with. I can show you as many as 100 of those posts, but let's come back to what is after my own heart. When I got into journalism, the first thing I had on my first day at the Guardian are these words: facts are sacred. If you are in doubt, leave out. That's the dictum that I was trained with. Why are facts sacred? Because it underscores the fundamental importance of presenting accurate and verifiable information. Plus, journalists have a responsibility to report facts without distorting them, which is happening so much now. You don't distort news, you don't talk news, just report news. Don't add Maggie, don't add to just say it as it is. Without distorting them to fit a particular narrative. And why is that important? Because the public relies on the media for truthful accounts of events, and that is the responsibility we bear. Then, if you are in doubt, leave out. And I said that this refers to the reality that not all information is immediately clear or certain. Now, if a journalist is unsure about the accuracy of a piece of information, the prudent course of action is to exercise caution, rather than risk spreading potentially false information. Because, as they say, when in doubt, it is better to omit certain information from your report. And in this day and age of internet, whatever you report now, you'll be surprised in 100 years' time, people will refer to it and call it. Next slide. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to have strong collaboration with the media, because it is critical for both of us to work together to continue to counter fake news, disinformation, and misinformation. I will not be tired of saying it. Please, our reports, media reports, should be factual, objective, truthful, and fair. If there is no truth in what we write, then we are not worthy to be called journalists. Then I said, conducting free, fair, credible, and inclusive election is a collective responsibility. Yes, INEC has the primary duty, but we require the cooperation of all stakeholders before we can actually do what we are supposed to do. And finally, INEC will continue to provide the media with access to relevant information that it requires. Thank you very much.